just a matter of time. I remember the day that it was announced that Russia, as the Soviet Union at the time, had invaded Afghanistan. Gold and silver prices went bananas. What's going to happen if we hear that Belarus has invaded Ukraine and is carving up the other side of the country? This is an ally of Russia. I think that could very well happen, maybe sooner rather than later. We're going to deal with it by first being denial. Now, there are people that listen to the things that you guys say and have taken some action on this that are reasonably well prepared, myself included. But there'll be things that we need that all of a sudden we can't find, the things made out of plastic, paying more for gas. And so one of two things will happen. Either these people that are lower down that really don't have much margin for error, they can't pay 50% more for the food that they need to put on the table. And unlike one of the heartless women in one of the Biden administration, I don't know what one, whether it was agriculture or whatever, she says, well, you don't need to eat meat, you can eat lentils. And you don't need to feed your good pet food to your cats or send them to the vet. You can give them plants. You can fake meat. I mean, this to me is heartless. It's criminal. It just shows how the elite look at the rest of us. And I don't consider myself to be an elite. I'm a regular person. And I really dislike intensely what these people are saying. Or one of the comedians saying, well, I don't care how high the price of gas goes. I've got a Tesla. And that character doesn't realize that 25% of the energy that is used in the United States to drive that Tesla comes from coal-fired plants to create that electricity. So there's a cost to everything. And even the electricity that comes from windmills and solar power, windmills kill 1 million bats a year. They kill thousands of raptors. There's a cost out there. Not to mention that when these propellers wear out in 15 or 20 years, they can't even recycle them. They have to be taken. They're 150 feet long. They take them to Wyoming and bury them whole. I mean, this is really awful. And our government seems to be really, really clueless. And the bureaucrats living in the Beltway really don't give a tinker's darn about the rest of us. That's a bottom line, be they Republican or Democrat. And I hate to be such a cynic, but I've seen just a little bit too much of this. And something's got to change for the better, or a lot of people are going to get really upset, and not just in this country. I see very high prices on grains, on meat. We're already seeing that, on eggs. I've been stocking up ahead, not just for myself and my family, but even for some of my neighbors if they need it. A lot of people haven't done any of that. A lot of people in big cities don't have room in their small apartments to hold very much. But I've been looking at things for the last year that have a 25-year shelf life that is not just a bunch of macaroni and potatoes and starches, but actually is quality food that's put together in triple packaging that can, keep that so that it lasts 10, 15, 20, 25 years. And then I've gotten some other things of smaller duration that I found some brown rice that is certified lead-free in containers that last 10 or 11 years. Same thing with protein mixes, things that I will eat. It isn't much to buy a bunch of stuff that is food, but if your family won't eat it, and if you get tired of it by the third day, it's not going to help you keep from being malnourished. There's one type of sardines that I like from Costco that has a date of up to 5 years out. I bought some more yesterday, and they're usually good for a year or two beyond that too. It's the only kind of sardines that I like. They have them for an excellent price, and I stock up whenever they're on sale. And right now, even when they're not, because frankly, I'm not sure they're going to be there at all in a few months. So you could call me a Cassandra if you'd like, but I don't want to wait. I don't want to pay twice as much. I don't want to be able to not find it. And this is true of a lot of non-food items as well, too. I read a story about a tractor, a guy that had a $40,000 tractor. He's a farmer in the Midwest. It's sitting there useless because it's missing a $40 piece of equipment that he needs as a starter, and he can't get it. So don't think it's a matter of, I can't find the tractor. You may find the tractor, but it may be missing one or two pieces. and it may be useless to you. And David Morgan has always said that change happens at the margin. So the change has been happening for the last several years at the margin, where the countries have been finding out ways not to deal entirely in petrodollars, which has been the so-called the gold fiat standard since 1971 under Nixon. Well, now you have the Saudis not taking the president of the United States call, saying we're going to look at taking selling our oil in yuan or gold or rubles. I mean, this is going from the margin to the heart of the matter. And so people say, well, it's still 60% petrodollar. That doesn't mean much. What happens when it's 55 or 50 or 45? You have this cascading thing happening. You have what Jim Rickards calls a contagion, where it jumps lanes and it affects other things in all sorts of different ways. This is serious, serious business. And there was a German industrialist that came out in the last couple of days and said, if Russia cuts off gas to Germany, we could actually have the country stop overnight in terms of production. It would bring the country to a standstill. This is serious business. And we've been throwing these terms out and these criticisms and all this kind of stuff like it doesn't matter, it's water off my back. Well, it's not. Now, getting back to inflation, another thing that could cause a tremendous problem in inflation, first of all, as you reported, it's underreported. It's closer to 15 to 20%. You can take Shadowstat's view of that, which I think is very accurate, or you can take your own eyes. I haven't seen any 7 or 8% increase. I've seen 15 or 20% increase. And this is not price gouging. This is as much people being afraid that they won't have product to sell if they don't sell it at the going rate as it is trying to get as much as they can. They don't know. Will I get more of this strapping tape in the Home Depot? Will I get some more chainsaws? All of these things. And so that's a problem. And then it has to do with the psyche of the consumer, his and herself. At some point, there's a mental switch that gets turned off when they go, oh my gosh, I can't wait any longer. I've got to start buying not what I need, not what I might need, but what might serve as barter. I'll buy a half a dozen packages of C-cell batteries and D-cells and double A's. I'll buy 100 pounds of rice instead of 50. I'll buy something that might serve as a barter item. I'll buy whatever ammunition I can find, even if it's a caliber I don't use, because if it's a common caliber, I know somebody will buy it or exchange it for me for goods and services. When you get that type of a thing into the inflationary cycle, that is embedded. And it isn't something that people go around and go, oh, inflation, according to the government, fell last month. I'm not going to worry about it anymore. They don't trust the government. The government has lied to them, and they trust only what they feel emotionally. And this goes off the rails in terms of many of the countries in Latin America and in Asia, where the margin between putting food on the table and making your family go without is 10 or 15% increase in the price of corn, the price of rice. And it's not 30, 40, 50. That's revolution talk. It's really, I'm very much concerned that this is something more devious and more pronounced than anything I've seen in my life going back to the 70s. It's the 70s stagflation on steroids. It's worse. It's just a matter of time. I remember the day that it was announced that Russia, as the Soviet Union at the time, had invaded Afghanistan. Gold and silver prices went bananas. What's going to happen if we hear that Belarus has invaded Ukraine and is carving up the other side of the country? This is an ally of Russia. I think that could very well happen, maybe sooner rather than later. We don't have a clear idea of what's going on there. Part of it is Western reporting or lack thereof. Part of it is Russian reporting. Everybody's trying to put a spin on it. But whatever's going on, I think it's quite a bit different than what we're hearing. And it makes you not want to repeat anything because so little of it is reliable. At some point, the truth will come out. So precious metals, I mean, my gosh, I can't remember a time when American Silver Eagles weren't going for $3 premium. Now, I listened to Andy Scheckman here a couple days ago. He said $11, $12, $13 is the norm. He says, I've got some that I can sell you for 11.50 or 12. My heavens, and he's not sure how many more he can get back. So this is anybody who's still waiting. My heavens, don't think about this as spending money like consuming money. It's about changing an inferior form of money, fiat, for a superior form of money, gold and silver. It's nobody else's claim on it. Is very liquid. It can be used for barter. It can be sold at a coin shop when you need it. Get some. Don't mortgage your house, but have some.